I got you. Let it rap real quick. Look.
The city eyes, it's time to vote God. My God, a real nigga, cause he wasn't no flaw. Posted on the corner like a watchdog. Family secure, got that shotty in the closet by the mob ball. Fuck what they heard, tell them it's all true. Be cautious, that foundation falls till you fall through. They gon' fall. Look, I keep this shit 50 times 2. Ain't no more heart in this game, I'm John Q. Colder than the avalanche, way above average. Fans taste sweet, told him make me an apple tree. Left us in the valley full of bones, this where hope found. Java, sands get broke down. Riding through Evanston with Mark Quad. Telling me how the crackers turn his childhood to a ghost town. Poke a stop, nigga, I lay that game down. I feel his pain, cause nothing is the same now. Let my light shine like heaven through a rain cloud. Glock have a fit like my child, no bench. Try to warn them niggas, we bear arms like tarantulas. Them other niggas rap, I make anthems. I really seen prophets under this banner. Made my enemies bow down on camera. Told my design I wanted black and white like a panda. I'm better than that nigga that sunk dirty Diana. Look, I move like a Brazilian, precious cargo, spirit ancient, but I got a new semi-auto. Wave that bitch around like where's Wardo. Sleep if they won't, I cut through they Z's like I'm Zorro. Hate me for his name, so I gotta keep that steel clutch. Trust me, I'm not what you think. I squeeze till it click like Dorothy when the heels touch. The world got me dumb, I don't feel much. Ride around with Yaradon, just left the state bridge. Looking for a bitch better than Baby's kid. Remember I dropped Quiet Storm, I've been gone ever since. Still in the field, fuck them niggas on the fence,
I think we got a problem, got a problem.
Let's go. Get up. It's that club, baby. You hear that? We can't sit down to that. Okay.
Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy, Shigaluch, LOXD Block, Silverback. Hey, yo, right now I need to shout out the ISUPK classes.
I want to give a huge, big, humongous shout out to all the UPK schools.
Shout out to Black Watch, hosted by General Johanna. Word, I need y'all to check out Cross the Line Radio as well, man. They've been open all week from 7 to 9. They ain't shut down because of the corona, the COVID and all that. They rockin' strong, you know what I mean?
Think we got a problem, but really it ain't though. It's one of me and these bitches, I count about 3, 4. Think we got a problem, but homie just all talk. He ain't gon' pop a balloon with a pitchfork. Nah, think we got a problem in the club with this dog. Rude boys, dogs, ladies, everybody.
Yo, shit, what they want?
Shalom, Yahaba Shem Yahweh Barakatah, Salakia, Shalom, Yahaba Shem Yahweh Barakathum, Shalom, Yahaba Shem Yahweh Shalom, Shamar Altham Shem Yahweh Salakia, to the sisters. All right, tonight's class is buck breaking. Buck breaking. It is the ISUPK. That is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge out of Harlem, New York since 1969 under Commanding General Yohana. And we are here to teach the so-called Black, so-called Hispanic, and so-called Native American people that we are the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Tonight's class is an interesting class. It's buck breaking. And we're going to explore the first homosexual school. All right. We'll be right back. Go get your pen, pad, get your precept, get your Bible, get your drink, get ready, because we about to get busy.
Get down here to class, 1232 North King Street, Wilmington, Delaware.
Shalom, Lord Christ, to my brothers and sisters, man. Y'all need to come down to 1232 North King Street, where the truth resides, man. ISUPK Delaware. We definitely representing doing some big things.
Right? 202 North DuPont Boulevard in Smyrna, Delaware.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Come and be a part of this rising thing that we got going on here in Delaware.
I hear everybody claiming that they love the Lord and love God and all that. Well, get in here and show it. You know what I mean? The scriptures say faith without works is dead. So if you ain't doing nothing, your faith is dead. So get up and do something. What you need to do is get your ass up and get in the class. You understand what I'm saying? You ain't doing nothing else. You're sitting home wasting time. Everything is going on around you, and you don't know how to compartmentalize these things. You understand? I'm on my way to class right now, like you should be. You know what I'm saying? Class don't stop for nothing.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so tonight's class is an interesting class. It's a lot going on the planet right now. It's a lot going on. All right. If y'all don't know, the boy Kyrie actually sent out a message today. All right. Sent out a message. Did they say he was going to retire? Did they say?
I read something like that.
Yeah, that he may retire.
I haven't verified.
All right. Tonight's class is on buck breaking. It's called buck breaking. All right. Buck breaking was a rule of thumb or a rule that they went by to get us to cooperate. Like, let's say you had a dominant slave on the plantation, right? So that dominant slave on the plantation, the one that always talking, the one that's always plotting, the one that's strong, the one that's masculine, they'll take him and they'll break him. They'll break him to the point so that no one else would want to do whatever it is that he was talking about. So if he was talking about leaving and escaping, they gonna buck him. If he think about doing anything against the master, they buck him, right? And when they buck him, he become a house nigga, right? Unfortunately, a lot of us today has become house niggas. We have become a nation of house niggas, right? So we're gonna play. I want you to go. Let me. No, we ain't gonna play that yet. I want to go to the buck. I want to get them to understand the definition of buck breaking, right? Because they have to understand before we get into this class. You need to see exactly what we're going to be exploring and what we're going to be talking about, right? So I'm gonna zoom that up. Can you see it up? You can't see it.
You got to go down now. Are you able to move the cursor in it?
Move the what?
Bring it down some. Like scroll down so that you can.
I got you. I got the controller. Hold on. Let me get like that. All right. So buck breaking. All right. This is the origin of buck breaking. All right. This is the origin of it. Buck breaking came came to life when African slaves rebellions had increased. So when they started increasing, go ahead.
Can you let them see the big image so they can have something in their mind?
Well, I can't.
Just scroll down so they can see the image. You was doing it a minute ago, and then it came back up.
What's that?
There you go. There you go.
Well, I can't read it.
No, yeah, just so they can have an image.
All right, I got you. No sweat. All right, it says it first started with the stripping of a male slave and having them flogged while other slaves watched. With time, it graduated into stripping and raping them. This act spared no man. It affected both children and men. It's very important. A lot of people believe that they only buck men, but they buck children too. Right. All right. Can you grab that? Can you see that? All right, let's read it. Yeah, grab that mic. All right. Go ahead.
It says,
what time?
At a time.
I mean, Salakia.
Starting at a time.
Go ahead.
With time, it graduated, Salakia. At a time, buck breaking became so successful that it grew into sex farms.
It did what?
Grew into sex farms.
It did what?
Grew into sex farms.
That is your first LGBTQ school. It grew into a sex farm. Go ahead.
Where male African slaves were bred. Were bred.
This is how we became homosexuals. We was not into sodomizing before Esau came here, before the oppressor came here, and he wanted to buck break us. Go ahead.
Just for the purpose of being raped by their white masters.
Just by doing what?
The purpose of being raped by their white masters.
By their white masters. This is called buck breaking. All right. And remember, they developed a school where they trained and taught us and bred us to be sodomizers, to be homosexuals. All right. And then y'all wonder, y'all say, oh, it's natural. It's something we was born with. It wasn't natural. It was something that the wicked was born with. Right. And they put it on us by buck breaking us. This is when you want a slave, which we are in this country today. When you want a slave to do what you want him to do, you buck break him. Go ahead.
Buck breaking was done to cripple the ego.
To do what?
Cripple the ego.
To cripple the ego, to break you down, embarrass you in front of your wife, your children, and all the people that you've been talking, all this, yeah, we gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Read that again.
Buck breaking was done to cripple the ego and strength of the male slaves.
Come on.
Most slaves, after being raped, committed suicide.
Did what?
Committed suicide.
Come on.
As they could not live with the shame.
You can't live with that. You're going to bring me, listen, let me tell y'all something. My grandfather is 94 years old. All right. He led the migration of my family off the plantation. He's going to be at my house this weekend. He's 94 years old. All right. Let me tell you something. He told me, based on the census report too, there was over 274 family members on one plantation. They was all my family. Snap. Yeah, they was all my family. Can you imagine them bringing my grandfather out in front of 270 plus of my family and raping him? That's what they do. They do it in front of everybody. They make sure everybody can see. So the next slave will know, I don't want that.
Right.
I don't want to be raped. I don't want to be sodomized. I don't want to be bleeding, laid out all over a tree stump. Why? Because I wanted to free my people. Come on now.
Come, sir. History archives have it that buck breaking wasn't only a white master to African male slave thing. Most times, two or more African male slaves were forced to rape each other.
Was what?
Forced to rape each other.
These people are sick.
Right.
They sick. And you got to understand they had to do this in order to teach you Christianity.
Yo, bro.
Remember, these were Christians that was doing this.
Right.
When they created the first LGTBQ whatever school, the first homosexual farm where they was breeding them that way, right? When they first did that, understand, this is coming out of their sick mind.
Right.
This is coming out of their sick mind, and they introduced it to us. And now they forcing us to rape another brother. They forcing that. But they don't want us to talk about it. They want us to be hush about it. But I'm here to tell you that they doing the same thing to Kyrie. And they doing the same, they trying to do the same thing to Kyrie, but Kyrie is fighting back. But they definitely did it to Ye. They bucked him, stripped him right on down. Go ahead,
Kawa Khan. Buck breaking was also done in the presence of little male slaves and the male slaves' families, so as to show superiority of the white master over.
What? Now notice what he said. Read that again. To show
superiority of the white master.
That's what they be doing when they be making these rules for Kyrie,
right?
And for Ye, and telling him what he can say and telling him what he can do. I don't know if y'all seen it today, but Ye put out a text, a copy of a text message on Twitter where he talked about how someone has sent a text about drugging him. So it's true that they got together to drug him, to kill him, to take everything like they did Michael Jackson.
Oh, snap.
Just remember, they listen to what they did to Michael. Michael Jackson bought half of Sony.
Right.
He bought half of Sony. And then when he bought half of Sony, he came out and he began to talk about how he got it and how they thought he was just singing and dancing. But he bought half of Sony, and how the owner of the Sony record label was the devil, and how they was evil and wicked, and how they was enslaving the artists. You know what they did? They said, "Oh, okay. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna offer them a contract for a tour. What can we call it? I mean, this is it for the motherfucker Salakia. This is it for him. Mm-hmm. We call it This Is It. Have him call the album This Is It. And what we're going to do is we're going to get insurance on him, and we're going to hire a doctor to kill him. And don't worry about it, Doc. Don't worry about it, Doc. You only get about 3 years. He's home. Y'all know the doctor only did 3 years that killed Michael Jackson.
That's crazy.
So Kanye West, Salakia, Ye pulled out a tweet today showing that they were trying to drug him. So what did all the little hat people do? They showed that they are superior over him.
Right.
And they bucked him. Go ahead,
Kamal Khan. Buck breaking crippled most little revolutions as it made slaves weak and less motivated. It broke the spirit of African male slaves and made them feel less masculine.
Look at that. Don't that sound like what they doing to us right now with this homosexual movement?
Absolutely.
Isn't this what it sound like they doing right now when you're watching TV, when you're reading books, when you're doing anything in this country? These people are trying to push a self-genocide on you. Say you can commit genocide through love. You can love someone and commit genocide? That don't even sound like. Since when we as humans began to be identified on what type of human we are based on our sexual appetite? That's an animal. Oh, based on your sexual appetite, you're a bisexual. You sleep with anything. That's how you know that this is a taught behavior.
Right.
And this taught behavior came by them trying to shape and mold us. And they used a law, they used a tool called buck breaking. Go ahead.
Kamal Khan. Some records have it that sagging originated from buck breaking.
Go read that again.
Some records have it that sagging originated from buck breaking.
So when you got your pants sagging down, don't worry about it, man. You just keeping history out.
That's
it's the history of buck breaking. They can buck break your ass. I like it. I gotta chill on that. Go ahead.
Slave masters forced male slaves to sag so as to let everyone.
To what?
To let everyone.
Come on.
including other white slave masters, know they have already been raped.
They has already been raped. They has look, you've already been. You know what? When I see the brothers today, now I know you've already been raped. Where? Right here.
Right.
You've been raped right here. Your brain is raped. Your mind is raped. You want to walk around with your drawers showing, huh? And then you got skid marks. Go ahead, huh?
Khan. Then male slaves who sagged wore no pants.
No, oh my goodness.
Boxes, so their buttocks stayed out.
Sound familiar? Sounds familiar. And that is buck breaking.
That's crazy.
That's buck breaking. Go ahead. Oh, it gets worse. Go ahead.
Khan, sir. The buck breaking story wasn't talked about during those days as male slaves felt their ego bruised, so they avoid talking about their encounters and experience.
Hell yeah. I would feel, wouldn't you feel like you're bruised in a lot of ways?
Right.
That brother bruised in a lot of ways, man. So damn right I don't want to talk about it. I want to forget about it. I don't never want to mention it. Go ahead.
Buck breaking is just one of the many ways African slaves were punished and controlled. Buck breaking was also mixed with the breeding farms.
With what?
With the breeding farms.
Here it come. Here come that school. This the first school. So y'all can go out and y'all can tell all your little friends, your gay friends and all that. Hey, we found the history of your school, man. Breeding homosexuals. We found it. It's in buck breaking. Go ahead, Al.
Business. White supremacist and slave owners operated. Breeding farms were created to increase the population of black people forcefully. In most cases, black men were forced to sleep with their daughters.
These people are sick, man. Just keep in mind, these are Christians. And while they doing all this, they saying, listen, you got to forgive me.
Exactly.
This is the reason why one can go into church and kill 9 people and we'll come out and say, I forgive you. The reason why is because we've been taught this. We've been bred. It doesn't say we were taught. It says we were bred. We were bred this. We were bred to do these things. This is not something that just came up. This is something that's been in the mix, been in the making, and we see it right now in buck breaking. Go ahead. I mean, this is so heavy. I mean, think about it. We still repeat this.
Right.
Sagging of the pants, behind out, being emasculated, feeling embarrassed, and using tools like this to completely embarrass you, completely humiliate you in front of your family, your friends, everybody. These people are they are the most cruelest people on the planet.
Damn right.
Go ahead, Al.
Black men were forced to sleep with their daughters, wife, mother, or sister. And the punishment for refusal was death.
Was what?
Death.
Come on.
Is that part of the
That's it? Go ahead.
Do you know?
Oh, that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. So by doing this, that's it. That's it. By doing this, what happens is now this develops psychological damage, and it caused them now to be a good houseboy, right? To be a good boy, and do what he's supposed to do. Now, y'all know I got them books on deck. So right now I'm about to read out. We're gonna read out of a book. This right here is one of America's first history books. All right, one of America's first history books. All right, and within this history book, you can see. I'm gonna have someone read it, but you can see the original Capitol building. All right. Now, why am I bringing this book out? I'm gonna show y'all something. Because the discussion about us being Israelites, this book breaking has started all the way back, and this book was written in 1881. I hope you can see it. This book was in 1881. This book was written. Now, this is a history. This is America's history book, right? It should not be anything in here about Israelites.
Right.
Because I heard Charleston White go off and say today, this is a new thing. This is a new thing. They just came up with this. Well, let's see. Let's see if this is a new thing. Now remember, this is one of America's first history book. All right. And over time, yes, it has been edited. All right. You see it? Now I won this in an auction. All right. Another thing I'm gonna show you in this book. If you can see it. See that? It's autographed 1890. Can y'all see that?
1936.
It's two of them. And the one up top. You see the one up top?
Not really.
Can't see it, right? It's right here where my finger is. It says, can you see it? 1890. See it? 1890. That was written, right? I mean, that was the autograph, right? So there's no way it should be in this book, right? I want someone to read. Hold on. Matter of fact, we're just gonna run right to it because I want a couple of things I want to get into. Who got that? I want you to read that right there on the second paragraph. You can start where that dot is. All right, so that's America's first history book. So the bucking began right there. Remember, in order to book break you, they first got to give you the rule. And then if you don't follow the rule, then they buck break you. All right? Go ahead, Al.
The origin of the North American Indians is involved in complete obscurity.
All right, so this is what this discussion is about. And this is how it starts. This is how this history book, which is one of America's first history book, was written in they began to write it in 1876, right? And then in 1881, it was complete, right? And in the introduction, the first thing they say is, read that again.
Sir. The origin of the North American Indians is involved in complete obscurity.
All right, go ahead.
That they are one of the older races of mankind cannot be doubted.
You know why they say they're one of the oldest races? It's because the indigenous people of this land was still our people, the 10 lost tribes. They were still writing and speaking a dead language, which was Paleo-Hebrew. All right? If you look up the 10 Commandments in New Mexico, you'll see that in New Mexico, the 10 Commandments was in Paleo-Hebrew. They saw that when they got here. So they said it's obvious this got to be one of the oldest nations. The reason why they didn't evolve, because remember, the 10 tribes came over here in 722 BC. And when you came over here in 72 BC, guess what they were speaking? Paleo-Hebrew. All right, go ahead. Can you pull that out? New Mexico 10 Commandments. Go ahead.
But at what date or by what route they came to the Western continent is an unsolved problem.
All right, so yeah, they saying, listen, we don't know how they got here because they're here and they're the oldest language. They're the oldest people or the oldest nation. Has to be. Why? Because it's Paleo-Hebrew, and you can see it right there on the screen. Can you blow that up for a second up? If you look at that closely and you take out your phone and you Google Paleo-Hebrew, you'll see the same exact thing. That was here before Amerigo Vespucius. That's crazy. That was here before Christopher Columbus. It was here before them. So if it was here before them, you know what that means. The Israelites, we're the ones that brought it here.
Damn right.
We're the ones that brought that here. So this is why they were saying is what? One of the oldest nations. So remember, in this history book, it's talking about the North American Indian, the indigenous people of North America, the land of the North. All right, go ahead.
Many theories have been proposed to account for the red man's presence in the New World.
Come on.
But most of them have been vague and unsatisfactory.
Read.
The notion.
The what?
The notion.
The notion, the thought, the notion. Go ahead.
That the Indians are the descendants of the Israelites.
Wait a minute. Why are they saying this? The notion. This is in America's first history book. Read that again, huh?
The notion that the Indians are the descendants of the Israelites is absurd.
Is absurd. So the book breaking started right there. Let me get that.
I don't want to.
The book. Go ahead. I'm listening.
I was reading up on something, and I can't remember the devil's name, but he was in charge of the Bureau of Ethnology, which ended up being later the Smithsonian, or it was tied to the Smithsonian. Right. And one of the criteria that he had was if you write anything other than the Native Americans being savages or try to tie them to the lost tribes, it will be seen as.
Did they say the last part?
What, the lost tribes? Yes, and I got to find. I believe that. There's a document about it, but he said it will be seen. I forgot the term that they use, but as illegitimate. If you try to tie them to the lost tribes, it will be seen as illegitimate. So many of them been doing this for a minute now.
Grab that 10 lost tribe up there. It's at the bottom, right there. Right, down, over to your left. Over to your left. You should see it. Ain't it right there? It's not right there. Right there. Open that up. Yo, look up. Let me see that real quick. I want to show y'all something. Let's watch this right here. Look, watch this. Now remember, we just showed you right there in America's first history book that the buck breaking began right there, right? We're going to look at the buck breaking, but I want to set the stage to let you know that we were warned not to talk about we are the 10 tribes, right? But the information was already out there, all right? Here you go. I want you to do the second paragraph where it talks about Reverend James. Salakia, let me see that real quick. Mataziala, can you look up a Jew? I'll look it up. Go ahead. Read that.
Reverend James S. Milligan writes from Argyle, New York, May 13th.
Where are you writing from?
Argyle, New York, May 13th, 1853. To a friend in Allegheny, PA, having in my possession a very curious relic or facsimile of a relic of that ancient nation, the Jews.
Who?
Jews.
Now remember, he's finding this right here in North America. Read that again.
Reverend, having in possession a very curious relic or facsimile of a relic of that ancient nation, the Jews, I take the liberty of addressing you in reference to it, in order that I and others may have the benefit of your opinion concerning it. That to which I refer is the facsimile in block 10 of a silver coin found.
What kind?
In block 10 of a silver coin.
Go ahead.
Found last summer in Michigan, about 20 miles from Detroit, 2 feet under the surface of the earth. The coin is about the size of an American $50, not so great in circumference, but thicker. On one side is represented a censer with smoking incense, with the Hebrew inscription, Jewish shekel. On the other also is the Hebrew inscription, the Holy Jerusalem, with the representation of an olive tree or perhaps palm tree.
All right, you can stop. As you can see, you can actually see that. You can actually pull that up. This is what they found in North America. So the buck breaking began then right here in America's first history book, where it says it's obscure. That means you can't say anything. It's ridiculous. So the buck breaking began right then and there. It began, right? The buck breaking began right then and there at the beginning of when they can put together this nation, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the buck breaking. We're going to see an example of a buck breaking. Right. Y'all want to see an example of a buck breaking? There was a man by the name of Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon was involved in buck breaking. We're going to see how Nick Cannon behaved before when he was brave. You know how it says that they take the strongest slave, the most masculine slave. So Nick Cannon felt masculine. He felt strong. He felt like, hey, you know what? I can say this. Let's see. Let's see what he said. Let's see what happens when he was bucked. And let's see how he responded after the bucking. Just after the bucking. Let's see. And then we're going to get into some script. We definitely going to get into some scriptures. All right, here we go. Here we go. Let's see. Give me a sec.
Every day of my life, I approach it with a state of empathy.
Give me a sec.
They're gonna protect us.
Give me a sec. Gotta find that tree. Okay. No, that ain't that. I can't find it. Give me a sec. Hold on. I don't even know where this joint is at right here. I ain't gonna wait to pull that joint with Nick. All right, you know what? Let me go here. Give me a sec. All right.
All right, so to my understanding.
All right, hold on. Here we go. Try to do it again. All right. Share. All right, here we go. All right, so we're going to take a look at Mr. Cannon. For some reason, they keep shooting me out of that tree. Okay, all right.
Yeah, right. Let's look up the word anti-Semitic.
Right.
I can't pull it up. It's not letting me out.
So I looked up who is the Semitic people, and there's a list of Semitic people. And
okay, there it is. All right, here we go. Here I come. I think I found it. It's a lot here. All right, there we go. For some reason, it keeps kicking me out every time. Yeah, I can't. For some reason, I can't play that. Okay. I can't.
anyone can do this right now. You can look up who are the Semitic people, what are the Semitic languages.
Right.
Has absolutely nothing to do with any white people.
Right.
Fact. Not at all. So in order for me to be anti-Semitic, I'd have to be anti-black man, anti-black woman, anti-black people, anti-Africa, anti-all of the people.
Because the Semitic people
are black people.
So y'all get that clarity. We're going to say that again.
Now,
the Semitic people are black people.
So I cannot be anti-Semitic. Now, what do they really use the phrase anti
If you look at Nick Cannon, he's so excited about it. Like he's all excited. He's really into the interview. You know what I'm saying? He's laying it out. Anti-Semitic. Yeah, yeah, Professor Grip, hit it, man. Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel whatever you saying. Like he really into it, right?
Anti-Semitic to do. That's the thing.
To divide us. Right.
So they put this title on you, anti-Semitic, and then they neutralize you.
Right.
Separated me from the group.
Right.
Say he's a Jew hater. He hate white people. He hate gay people. He hate all white people with freckles and red hair, whatever.
Right.
And they put that on me, which I never said these things.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I just ran down the history given to me by my elders. And what am I supposed to say? You understand? I laid out the name.
The truth, you hear? The truth.
Organizations they belong to.
Oh, so I
laid it out. Now, mind you, this is not coming from Professor Griffith. I wasn't hating nobody that day.
And was it in that statement? Was it just like was it white people, Jewish people, white supremacy? Like was it more just like you just kind of just you weren't saying a hateful statement. You were just saying this is who controls it.
I laid out the names.
Right. Oh, so you specifically
you
said people's names.
Yes.
Oh,
people's names.
At that time, because this was 80.
All right, so we kind of like get the idea. Nick Cannon was really into the interview.
Right.
He was really into the interview. He was on it. Like he was in the truth, man. He was awake. And then it happened. The buck breaking. The buck breaking began. And they began to break him. Right? They began to break him. Y'all heard about it. They took his show. They was stripping him. You know they got to strip you first before they whip you.
Right.
So they strip you, they whip you, then they fuck you. Salaki. That's what they do in front of everybody. That's what they did to Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon was bucked. He was broke. Right. They bucked him. And boy, did they buck him good. And you know what? He became a good boy. He became a good boy. We're going to see this good boy. Y'all want to see this good boy? We're going to show you what happens when you buck. When you're not in this school, you get bucked. Right. Now, listen, let me tell you something. If you leave this school, you're getting bucked.
Exactly.
You're getting bucked all day long. And I know a couple brothers that they got bucked.
Right.
I don't even know what they name now. They wearing what is that they call? The African garbs?
Dasiki.
They wearing dasikis now. Niggas named Steve now. Hold on. He gonna hear that. He gonna be like, oh man. Like, oh, yeah, nigga, your name Steve now. All right, so look, this is what happens when you buck. Now remember, he was really excited. It was great. He was smiling, laughing, all that. Right? He was awake. Watch this. Now, after the bucking, here we go.
Turning now to questions of faith and atonement. Tonight's edition of Soul of the Nation features the first network interview with comedian and TV host Nick Cannon since he's turning now to questions of faith and atonement. Tonight's edition of Soul of the Nation.
Look, now it's about faith. Now it's about faith and atonement. See, this is what happens when you get bucked. After you get bucked. Now it's about what? Faith and atonement. All right, we're going to definitely get into some scriptures. Y'all. Don't worry about it. We're definitely getting into some scriptures to show why this is happening.
Features the first network interview with comedian and TV host Nick Cannon since he sparked criticism for amplifying anti-Semitic language on his podcast last summer. Lindsay Davis sat down with him for the interview. Good morning to you, Lindsay.
Good morning to you, Amy. Those anti-Semitic comments and conspiracy theories that he espoused caused outrage and at the time cost him his job with Viacom.
That's the rape right there. Cost him his job.
It's quest ranch.
Right, that's when the bleeding began. The gushing of the blood. That's when it began. They can buck you. They can really buck you.
Well, since then, he describes himself as being on a journey of atonement, and he makes a big distinction between that and an apology. While an apology is just words, Nick says that he is taking action.
Now look, they bucked him so bad. He said words ain't good enough. Let me play that again. She said words when atonement wasn't good enough. He had to go a step beyond.
An apology is just words. Nick says that he is taking action.
Nick Cannon is not asking for forgiveness, but after what he said this past summer, many think he should. Bigoted comments he made on one podcast threw his stardom and future into a tailspin.
We can't be anti-Semitic when the Semitic when we are the Semitic people, when we are the same people that who they want to be.
Look, he said the same exact thing. Think about it. He said this. What he said just now, if you ain't here, he said we can't be anti-Semitic because we are Semitic. Who said that?
Kyrie.
Bucking him. They bucked him. We're gonna see if he gonna turn like this, because this boy here said, listen, man, atonement is not, apology is not enough. I have to take this beyond. And he was rubbing his beyond when he was saying it. He said, look, I got to do more.
This last episode featured Richard Griffin,
heard that,
aka Professor Griffin,
I know a lot of
who
people
kicked out of
about
Public Enemy back in 1989 for anti-Semitic comments. He and Nick retread anti-Semitic conspiracy.
They actually raped him? No.
Oh. Well, they did rape him. Understand, the rape that takes place now is exactly what they did to Ye. In 2 weeks, he was a billionaire on paper. He was a billionaire in status. In 2 weeks, he's like me. He ain't like me, but he down here. He feel like he like me. But the thing is, he is fighting. He is fighting. So we can say they bucked him, but we're going to see if they're going to break him. But they definitely bucked him. They just like they bucked Cannon right here.
Theories and questioned the birthright of the Jewish people. The reaction was swift and widespread. Nick lost his deal with Viacom CBS and stepped away from a daily radio show. His road back meant more than apologies. He sought atonement.
In Hebrew, they call it, teshuvah, the process of.
All right, so listen right now. He real humble. He real humble. He's speaking their words of atonement. Listen. He real humble. Boy, they raped him good. They raped him good. Look.
In Hebrew, they call it, teshuvah, the process of not only, repenting, but through that, if you're ever met with a similar situation, that you make a different decision.
His journey began with the rabbis.
When I watched the piece, and there was somebody there who was saying, I'm not even a real Jew.
Right.
That goes right to the heart.
Oh, did you hear that? Did you hear that? He said it hurt them to say that they're not real Jews. It cut them to the heart. Hold on. You're not a real Jew. You ain't it. Right. You're a convert. You're a convert. You are a convert that took place as a Khazarian. Right. That's what you did. You're a convert. I hope it hurts you. I hope it burned. I hope you feel it. Right? But let's get back to this boy here, because they bucked him good.
I want to understand why I hurt you. Why? What did I say?
What the hell is he talking about? He said he wants to understand why he hurt them. How did he hurt them? Who cares how you hurt them? Who cares?
That's right there.
Remember, you was just on there with Professor Griffin, laughing, smiling. We can't be anti-Semitic. We are Semitic. You was happy. Now I wanted to atone. I want to learn. I want to know what I did to make you feel bad, to hurt you. That's called buck breaking. That's called buck breaking. That's coming back and saying, Master, I don't want to go nowhere. And if anybody want to go somewhere, that's just silly talk. You good to us. That's what Nick is saying. You good to us. You give us jobs. I can have as many children as I want because you give me job. Oh, let me get some tissue. Excuse me, Massa. Bless us. You sneeze, Massa. You sneeze. That's what Nick did. He just straight flipped from the masculinity, the strength, the power, the standing for his people. It completely flipped and it turned into, hold on, I'm gonna show you what it turned into. Here it is.
Understand.
Hold on.
Why I hurt you? Why? Yeah. What did I say? What are these tropes? Educate me.
Nick's quest for education isn't new. Last year, he finished undergrad at Howard University, and he's now pursuing a master's degree in divinity.
My journey's not going to stop whether the person watching this forgives me or not. I'm still going to, hopefully, through this process, be on the right side of history and bring people closer together.
Viacom has acknowledged Cannon's efforts and is now back in business with him. He believes that this is the beginning of a necessary and ongoing dialogue about tensions that have existed at times between the Black and Jewish communities. You can catch Soul of a Nation tonight at 10/9 Central right here on ABC. Amy.
every day of my life, I approach it with a state of empathy, right? Regardless of what color, what creed, what race you are, I look at people as human beings. I think that's important. But life is always about taking a stand and holding principles. So I want to explain what I feel like my stance is as a Black male in this world, okay? And conversations that I've had with my brothers and sisters in the Black community. And I want you guys to empathize with it and hear me on it. So when I hear what Kyrie Irving has to go through in order to be reinstated, I'm appalled.
So what the brother is saying is, when I heard that Kyrie had to be bucked, he had to be buck broken to get back into the NBA, I was a little disturbed by it. That's what he's saying, because that's what we're talking about. Buck breaking means to strip you down, strip you of everything, rape you in front of everybody, to show you as a public example on don't nobody about to not try to do this. But one thing Ye said, he said, it's not that, what he said? He said, it's not that we're scared of you. We're just not afraid to do it. We're not afraid of you anymore. We're not afraid of you in the sense of you hurting us. We're not afraid to move forward.
Right.
We're not afraid to say. We're not afraid to speak. We're not afraid. And right now, this is what we need. We need courage. And the only way you can get that, see, the reason why this thing is not in order and lined up perfect is because Kyrie and Ye ain't in the ISUPK.
Damn right.
They still trying to mix their two messages. Ye trying to mix Christianity, and Kyrie is trying to mix Christianity. That's the problem. If you stop trying to mix Christianity, we can get somewhere. But listen to this brother. This brother said he was upset once he heard and saw that they wanted to buck break Kyrie.
I'm appalled. And let me give you examples of how I feel like we don't have the same energy and hold other people who have dealt with racial tropes accountable. So when Sarah Silverman does blackface, or when Don Imus says nappy-headed hoes, or when Howard Stern calls somebody the N-word in the skit, or when Brett Favre takes money from the state of Mississippi.
Let me tell you something. Brett Favre,
right?
Brett Favre should be on the front of everything right now.
Right.
Right. He should. Nobody's mentioning it. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody. It just okay. It happened. That's it. Instead, we talking about bucking Kyrie and Ye. We need to be bucking him.
Right.
We need to be getting together and bucking him. You got something?
It's like Brett Favre's situation disappeared way before this Ye and Kyrie situation.
Gone. This boy down there robbing everybody, and nobody want to say anything. So, like I said, this a brother right here. He wasn't feeling that. Y'all want to buck him? Nah, I ain't feeling that. This guy, his name is Jason Williams. Right. He actually played for the Chicago Bulls and got injured. He came out of Duke. All right. So he's a sport analysis. Am I saying that right?
We don't ask them to get sensitivity training. We don't ask them to donate $500,000. We don't ask them to meet with the Black National Caucus. They apologize. And then, you know what? The rest of the world moves on.
Yo, that was so heavy. He said, listen, man, Salaki. He said, listen, when these type of things happen, we don't ask for them to do all the things in a nutshell. We don't ask them to do all the things that they're asking Kyrie to do. Right. We don't ask them to meet with the NAACP and tell us, hey, did you learn good what we taught you, boy? Like you guys have to understand, out of all the demands that they was asking Kyrie, from the money to the apology to the meeting with the leaders of the Jewish community and the ADL, after all of that, they said, we got to get together. You got to get together with the owner of the Nets and show me that you learned everything that we taught you. That's crazy. This is a millionaire. But that's just to let you know, even a millionaire is a slave in this country. That's right. Let's keep going.
Well, what I feel like is happening here, and that's how in the black community, like we've been told that's how the process works, right? Think about that, Britt. That's how the process works. Oh, somebody does a blackface. Oh, it was a misunderstanding. We got it. Okay. You know, is that person?
What he's saying is so heavy. He's saying that when we in the black community and we see Esau, the oppressor, doing something that's offensive to us, we don't ask him to do all of these steps. We don't do none of that. We don't do none of that. But yet they're asking us to do all of these things. That right there is crazy. And guess what? You got house Negroes that think that it's fair. Like I got a brother, his brother, I ain't gonna say his name because he's my boy. But it's crazy. It's one of my clients. It's crazy because he really believed Kyrie is wrong. And Kyrie need to be a good boy. And Ye need to be a good boy. And them boys got masters and they need to obey their masters. And if their masters don't like the fact that they put something up on social media, master got the right to do that. Wow. Yeah. It's crazy. This boy, he's so serious. He's a brother too. He's a brother. What this brother right here is saying is so heavy. Keep reading this. So I can keep.
Really racist? Probably not. Was it ignorant? Probably so. Okay, we understand it. We move forward. We don't like it. We would love to hold them accountable. But society and having a lot of black people in positions of power, we don't have the governability to do that. But what we feel like happens with Kyrie is even after an apology, it's not enough.
So like, y'all gotta excuse me, but he said, and it's true, after Kyrie apologized, that wasn't enough. They wanted to humiliate him. So it's like being buck broken, right? They beat you and that wasn't enough. They got to take you over to the tree stump. You're like, no, not the tree stump, sir. Tree stump. Take him over. Bend him over. Because now he got to explain that he learned everything and he took it all in properly. He got to be a good boy. That right there is crazy. That is crazy. Hey, look. I'm telling y'all, you got Negroes that think it's fair.
We feel like there needs to be more. And a lot of people I've spoken to over the last couple of days talk about this thing. Older mentors of mine talk about buck breaking. So we talk about tropes. This is something that we feel like in the black community that happened way back in the day, where if there was a slave that was defiant, right, he got broken in front of everybody in order to show that he was not in a position of power. And that at the end of the day, he had to do what he was told to do because that's what was mandated of him.
All right, Salakia. You know what's heavy about this? What he said was buck breaking is they'll bring you before everybody at the plantation, right? Today, They buck break you in front of the world. You got the whole planet watching. You got the west coast of Africa, the north coast of Africa, the mid coast of Africa, Europe, Spain, the Caribbeans, everybody watching. It ain't just a plantation. So in reality, the buck breaking now is bigger and greater than it was when we was on the plantation. That's what he's talking about. He's saying bring the slave in front of the plantation. They brought Kyrie and Ye in front of the world, in front of the whole planet.
And there's a bigger situation going on. What's happening with Kyrie Irving? If the Nets don't want him to be there, just say you don't want him to be there. But we should hold everybody accountable, even owners of teams accountable, with things that are happening in other countries, i.e. China and
I'm gonna stop it right there. What I suggest that you guys should go and you should watch that video. You should watch that video. Also, Stephen A. Smith got a video where he's actually supporting Kyrie now. Because what happened was Stephen A. Smith, he jumped out there, without being wise.
Right.
Stephen A. Smith should have been wise as a black man. Any black man that's on the air should be wise when you're dealing with Esau. We go into 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Should be wise. And I'm going to show you, we're going to show you now why it's so easy to buck us. Like right now, they can buck some Negroes from the studio at NBC. They do a distance, a remote bucket. They don't even got to really touch you. They just say it like, and then next thing you know, we like, oh, it must be true. Right. Our ancestors had to pay for the bucking, for the foundation of believing that, because they got bucked. And because of the buck breaking on the plantation, breaking the strongest and the wisest slave, the Negro, by doing that, now it has transformed and transferred over to this generation. Because think about it, when they were being bucked back then, the wife was, the mother was telling the children, behave, do as you're told, baby, love Jesus, love the Bible, whatever they tell you, because if you don't, they're going to kill you. They're going to take you out there and buck break you. And you don't want to be buck broke. Remember what they did to daddy? Remember what they did to granddaddy? He was bleeding for 3 days. He couldn't move his bowels right for a whole month because they took turns. Remember, they created a farm. They began to breed them. So they had them. And they taught us to rape each other. This is where the LGTBQ people come from. This is where it come from. We wasn't into that. We wasn't into sodomizing. So how did all of this happen? Yo, give me that right there on that floor right there before you start reading them. I got to show this image. I got to show this image before I start reading, because y'all got to understand how this happened. How did we trust them so much? How did we love him so much? I'm about to show you. You ready? Bang. Right here. This is out. From this bastard. I'm going to show you why we call him a bastard. But from this bastard right here, this bastard right here, this is the reason why, Salakia, this is the reason why we don't, it's easier to buck break us by remote because of that one right there. Before we go to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, you know I was going to do this, right? Everybody in the building knew I was going to do this. Hold on. We're going to go to Hebrews chapter 12. start at verse 6. Go ahead. Verse 6. I'm going to show y'all why he's a bastard.
It's the book of Hebrews, chapter 12 and verse 6.
Read.
For whom the Lord loveth, he chastens.
He what?
He chastens.
So who he love, he chastise. He chastise us. Hold that. Salakia. Go to Amos chapter 3 in verse 1. We're going to go back there. Yeah, y'all know we in our book now. Amos chapter 3 and verse 1. Read. Understand, who he loveth is who he chastises. It's just like a father. Look, in my profession, I deal with a lot of kids. I don't spank them, but mine's I spank. You know why? Because I love them. I chastise them because I love them.
Right. Come on, sir.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
Read.
Amos chapter 3 and verse 1.
Come on.
Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel.
Come on.
Against the whole family which are brought up from the land of Egypt.
Against who?
Against the land. Slakia. O children of Israel, against the whole family which are brought up from the land of Egypt.
No, half a family.
The whole family.
A part of the family.
The whole family.
3 tribes.
The whole family.
Come on.
Saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth.
Read it again.
You only have I known of all the families of the earth.
Come on.
Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
I will punish you for all your iniquities. That's why we're being chastised.
Right.
Because we are children. Go back to Hebrews 12 and 6.
Come on. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 6. For whom the Lord loveth, he chastens.
Just like a child. Just like your child. You want your child to grow up and be right. You want your child to grow up and be wise and make wise decisions. So guess what? Read it again.
For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth.
Come on.
And scorneth every son whom he receiveth.
Every who?
Every son whom he receiveth.
Come on.
If ye endure chastening, God dealeth with you as with sons.
So if you deal with this chastisement, he's dealing with you as a son.
That's heavy.
He's dealing with you as a son. Read.
For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not?
So if he don't chastise you, man, come on. How can you be a son? Where is the love? Where is the tough love? How could you be a son? Read.
Wherefore, all are partakers. That then are ye bastards.
Oh, what?
Then are ye bastards.
Read that again.
But if ye be without chastisement.
So that's very important. So if you be without chastisement, who is a fugitive and a vagabond on this earth?
Esau.
He's a fugitive and a vagabond. Read that again.
But if ye be without chastisement, therefore all are partakers. Then are ye bastards.
Are you what?
Bastards.
Give me that again. Hold on. Hold that. Hold that. Let me get that over there. Let me get that out. Read that again from the top.
Come on, sir. Verse 8. But if ye be without chastisement.
If you be without what?
Chastisement.
Come on.
Wherefore all are partakers.
Yes.
Then are ye bastards.
This is he. He is a what?
Bastard.
A what?
A bastard.
A what?
Bastard.
Thank you, good brother. Read.
And not sons.
And not sons. He's a bastard. And he's not a son. He's a fugitive and a vagabond. That's right. He's going to and fro throughout the earth, seeking who he can destroy. Give me, Salakia, give me 2 Thessalonians. Let's get there.
Come on, sir.
We're going to start at verse 4. Because the image and the problem of that image sedated us. I'm Tawab. That image sedated us.
Right.
It became like a condom. It began to block life. All right. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Let's get it.
The book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4.
Read.
But as we were allowed...
Salakia, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Start at verse 1.
The book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4.
Start at verse 1. I want you to stop at every punctuation. Read.
You got it, sir. Come.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 1.
Come on.
Now we beseech you.
So when he says I beseech you, he's saying I plead with you. Read.
Brethren, by the coming of our Lord Yahushua in Christ.
So he's saying, brethren, he's talking to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, right? He's saying, by the coming of our Lord Yahushua Mashiach. So he's making a reference to the coming of the King. Read.
And by gathering together unto him.
This is what he's talking about when the King coming, when we're gathered to him. Read.
That ye be not soon shaken in mind.
Don't be troubled. Don't be shaken. Don't be shook in your mind. Read.
Or be troubled.
Come on.
Neither by spirit.
Come on.
Nor by word.
Read.
Nor by letter as from us. As that the day of Christ is at hand.
So listen, don't be deceived by any means. The day of the Mashiach, the day of our King, right, is at hand. Right now, what we're seeing on the earth, we're seeing a display. It's really happening. It's at hand. Listen, if you're not in this school and you're in Delaware, get in this school.
Right.
If you're not in this school in any state, get in this school. Because Kyrie and Ye, they got that from us.
Right.
And they didn't get the full story because they still mixing it with Christianity. Well, we're teaching you and showing you that this is all about the spirit of the Most High, Salakia, the spirit of the Most High, bringing you back to remembrance that you are the lost sheep of the house of Israel. All right, read.
Let no man deceive you by any means.
Come on.
For that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
Read it again.
Let no man deceive you.
Let nobody trick you. Don't let nobody deceive you about the coming of Yahushua. Read.
By any means.
Come on.
For that day shall not come.
That day that he's speaking about is the coming of our King. That day shall not come. Read.
Except there come a falling away first.
Except there be an apostate first. There gotta be apostasy first. Read.
And that man of sin
be man of who?
Man of sin.
Read.
Be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God.
So this man right here exalted himself above all. This is a real man.
Right.
This is the reason why we docile. This is the reason why we're emasculated. This is the reason why we're being buck broken. Because we trust in who? This bastard. I didn't call him a bastard. The Bible called him a bastard.
Right.
All right, read.
Or that is worship, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
So y'all trying to tell me that he didn't oppose himself above all? He didn't exalt himself above all, right? That is called God. So he is worshiped as God, so that he is God sitting in the temple of God, showing that he is who? God.
Right.
Is there a precept to help us understand that this happened? Yes, there is. Wisdom of Solomon. I'm just gonna get a precept.
Okay.
If you guys go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, Salakia, let's get it. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, You're going to start at verse 15. We're going to just read 15 and 17, which I suggest everyone is to read 15 through 22. But we're going to give you an understanding of who? This bastard. Remember, I didn't call him a bastard.
Right.
The scriptures called him a bastard. Right?
Damn right.
Let's get it.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 14.
Start at verse 15.
Verse 15.
Come on.
For a father afflicted with untimely mourning.
So this man, this is a real man. And his father was what?
Afflicted with untimely mourning.
All right, so Pope Alexander VI is his father.
Right.
Read.
When he have made an image of his child.
Of who?
An image of his child.
This bastard. Read.
Soon taken away.
Soon what?
Taken away.
Come on.
Now honor him as a god.
And then what?
Honored him as a god.
Didn't the Christians that came and colonized this country made him a what?
A god.
Go ahead.
Which was then a dead man.
Was what?
A dead man.
When listen, this was a dead man. Go ahead.
And delivered to those that were under him ceremonies and sacrifices.
Don't you got ceremonies and sacrifices? You got the what's that? The Easter Sunday.
Right.
Every Sunday.
Right.
Every Sunday, this bastard is being worshipped.
Right.
Every Easter.
Right.
Oh man, this image talks back on TV. It's an image on the wall that people worship, and it talk back. Read.
Khan. Thus, in process of time, an ungodly custom grown strong was kept as a law.
Come on.
And graven images were worshipped by the commandments of kings.
By the commandments of kings. That means the commandments, those that ruled over us, commanded us to do these feasts, to keep these sacrifices, to keep these holidays. Now, I suggest that you guys read all the way through this, at least until verse 27. Let's get back to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. So remember, in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, it says, who oppose it and exalt himself above all that is called God. So he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing that he is God. I'm going to say it again. Who opposing and exalt himself above all. All right? Esau opposing and exalt himself above all. So he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing that he is God. Right. This is the reason why we can't come together. This is the reason why we can't understand. Listen, this is the reason why Protestants lead in divorce. This is the reason why we're in and out of prison.
Exactly.
This is the reason why we got black on black crime. This is the reason why we are oppressed. This is the reason why everything is happening to us, because we have been bucked. We have been buck broke right here. Right here. All right. So he who opposes and exalt himself above God. So he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing that he is God. Read.
Verse 5. Remember ye not.
Remember. Paul is saying, remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things. Is that what it say?
Khan say.
Read.
Remember,
so Paul is letting you know, I told y'all about this. Go ahead.
Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things.
Come on.
And now ye know.
Now you know. Go ahead.
What withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time.
He's being revealed right now. Go ahead.
For the mystery of iniquity doeth already work.
Come on.
Only he who now letteth will let. And until he be taken out of the way.
Until he be what?
Taken out of the way.
You got to take it out of your mind.
Right.
It got to be completely taken away. It got to be completely destroyed. Just like they destroyed who you was, you got to allow that spirit of the Most High to quicken you and to bring you back into remembrance. Read.
And then shall that wicked be revealed.
Oh boy, oh boy. The ISUPK under Commanding General Yohana, We are being taught by the Spirit of the Most High under our King Yahweh Shah Mashiach that, yo, this guy right here is being revealed. Go ahead.
Whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth.
He's going to destroy Adumia.
Right.
He's going to destroy Esau. Go ahead.
And shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
Come on.
Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth.
See, y'all don't want to receive this truth that we teaching y'all right now. Y'all don't want to receive the fact that you can't eat pork.
Right.
You can't eat crabs and shrimp. You can't eat lobster. Just those are the little things. You can't divorce your husband and go marry another.
Right.
You can't do that. It's unlawful. It doesn't matter what this bastard say.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what this bastard say, because now he's being revealed in this time. Who opposing and exalt himself above all. So he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing that he is God. This bastard is not God. This bastard right here is not God. Where you at, Doc?
Verse 11, sir.
Come on.
And for this cause.
For what?
For this cause.
Come on.
God shall send them strong delusion.
Our people will be receiving a strong delusion. Go ahead.
That they should believe a lie.
That they should believe this bastard, this lie. They should believe that everybody is the same. They should believe that we are not different. They should believe that they are niggas. They should believe that Kyrie should be obedient to his master. They believe that Ye should be obedient to Adidas. They believe that Kim Kardashian could divorce and remarry and divorce and remarry. Why? Because now our people do it. Our women do it. They divorce and remarry and divorce and remarry and divorce and remarry. The Most High gonna break your back.
Right.
You getting judged for that. Go ahead, Doc.
Khan, sir. That they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
You got pleasure in that crap. That's why you like to go to church and say, you know what, I just like to go because I like to hear the music.
Right.
You find pleasure in that crap. You find pleasure in giving all your money to the pastor.
Exactly.
You find pleasure in watching him drive a better car than you.
Right.
You find pleasure in him having a bigger house than you and a better house than you. You find pleasure in that. You find pleasure in divorcing your husband and going and get another one. You find pleasure in that. You find pleasure in having a boyfriend. If you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you just practicing being a whore.
Right.
And if you're a male, you just practicing being a whoremonger. You have pleasure in that. You find pleasure in breaking the Most High's laws, his statutes, and the commandments. The only pleasure you find is finding security in America's laws, statutes, and the commandments. Read.
Khan. But we are bound to give thanks always to God for you, brethren, beloved of the Lord, because God had from the beginning chosen you to salvation.
Did what?
Chosen you to salvation.
So he's saying from the beginning, the Most High chose you for salvation. Read.
Through sanctification of the Spirit and belief of the truth, whereunto he called you by our gospel, to the obtaining of the glory of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Why didn't it say he called everybody? He called you. He called you. According to verse 10, the problem is, go back to verse 10. Read.
Khan. And with all
Salaki, start at verse 9.
Khan, sir. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan.
That's the problem. All those signs and lying wonders. Talking about you speaking in tongues. People falling back. All that bull crap. That is nothing but this. Read it again.
Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders.
Signs and lying wonders. And because of this, read.
And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth.
You don't want to receive the truth. because you don't want to stop breaking the Most High God's law, right? So it says, and with all deceivableness and unrighteousness in them that perish because they receive not the truth. Watch this. This right here is strong. Read.
Come, verse 11. And for this, Abaslakia, that they might be saved. And for this cause.
And what?
For this cause.
And what?
This cause.
Read.
God shall send. God.
Who?
God.
For this cause, who?
God.
Go ahead.
Shall send them strong delusion.
Who gonna send them the strong delusions?
God.
The Most High Power gonna send these strong delusions. And by sending these strong delusions, what he gonna do?
That they shall believe a lie.
They gonna believe a lie. What they gonna believe? That this is God.
Right.
The son of perdition. This bastard who opposes and exalt himself above all that is called God. That's our problem. This is why it's easy to buck break us remotely. This is the reason why our people can't be gathered together as one. This is the reason why our people can't understand that Deuteronomy 7:6 is talking about us, that we'll be raised above every nation and every people on this planet. We can't do it because we believe and we rise this bastard above everybody on the face of the earth, including us. Right. Will you stop at?
We were stopped at verse 12, sir.
Let's get Salaki. I thought I told you to go back.
Right. We just read verse 11, which was a strong delusion that they should believe a lie.
Go ahead.
Verse 12, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. But we are bound to give thanks always to you, Slakia. But we are bound to give thanks always to God for you, brethren, beloved of the Lord, because God had from the beginning chosen you to salvation through sanctification of the Spirit and belief of the truth.
Notice it says he chose you, Israel, blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people. Come on.
Whereunto he called you by our gospel to the obtaining of the glory of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Come on.
Therefore, brethren, stand fast and hold the traditions which you have been taught, whether by word or our epistle. Now our Lord Jesus Christ himself and God, even our Father, which have loved us and have given us everlasting consolation and good hope through grace.
All right, here we come. Come on.
Comfort your hearts.
Do what?
Comfort your hearts.
This is what I need blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people to do. Do what?
Comfort your hearts.
Come on.
Establish you in every good work.
You know what your good work could be? Your good work is getting into the ISUPK. That's the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. If you want to get together and unify your people and come together, the process has already begun. We already have a leader. We have a leader that's in the position and the stardom of Moses.
Right.
You don't know it because guess what? This bastard.
Right.
That's the reason why you don't know it. Salakia. That's the reason why you don't know it. Because of this right here. Because of this false image that deceive the whole world, who oppose it and exalt himself above all. So he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing that he is God.
Damn right.
Like, the scriptures is clear and it lays it out clearly. Don't be bucked. Don't go to work and start bucking because you was bucked at home remotely. That's how bad they is.
Right.
They can remote you buck. They can remote you buckly. They can Salakia. They can remote you. They can buck break you remotely because of this bastard.
Exactly.
So when I hear somebody talking about what they be saying and they be soft spoken and they masculated, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm leaning back and saying this brother been raped.
Facts.
Hey, and guess what? Everybody should feel that way. If you talking to somebody and they sounding like they a house nigga, That brother been bucked.
Exactly.
When I see somebody with their pants sagging and they behind out, that brother been bucked.
Exactly.
Buck breaking is big business now. It's like big pimping.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's big pimping right now. All right. Any questions in the room? Any questions online? I'm nice right now. I'm gonna turn the class over to Priest and Officer Mataziala. Sorry.
ISUPK security announcements. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to learn and share themselves with the world. They need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, they will receive counsel from the heads. Tithe, which is the commandment. Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10, means 10th in Hebrew. Ma'ashra, that's 10% of every penny of any increase in Lord given. Priest funds, free will offer for the priest. It's not mandatory, it's whatever amount you would like to donate. Upcoming holy convocations, we have the Feast of Dedication, which will be held right here, December 17th. It will be held in our Delaware South location, all right? So it's a high holy day, so that's a mandatory service. Make sure you come out. I don't believe it's a Sabbath, all right? And if anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. With that being said, Minister Israel, Shabbat, Bajim, Barak, Yahweh, Shabbat, Thumb, Yahweh, sorry, we're going to give a sister curse salute. Remember, it's Shabbat, Bajim, Barak, Yahweh, Shabbat, Thumb, Hashem, Yahweh, Shai, Yahweh, Pastor Smith.
Excuse me. I got a question. Somebody give me Romans 13 and 11. I have a question. It's a Ronald Carr, man. Give me Romans 13 and 11.
Khan, this is the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 11. And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep.
Brother, you need a water? Thank you.